Alright, so let me start over here. So when we are executing this script, it is basically doing the login operation 6 times. How it is doing the login operation 6 times? Because we did the parameterization and it is reading data from global data sheet. Can you see the name of the global data sheet is DT global sheet. Now DT global sheet, what field it is reading? Username, for username web edit. And what is that web edit again? What is that web edit again? That web edit is text box. So in QTP, when you are interacting with a text box, then it is, when you record it, it is recorded as web edit. So this web edit, for this text box, it is getting data from data table, and in data table, which data sheet can you see? This is your data table. In your data table you have action and global. Can you see? You have action and global. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay. So in your data table, basically you have action and global. Now you can say, you can put your data in action or you can put your data in global, right? So in this case, we are getting the username from global data sheet. And what is the field name? The field name is username. What is the field name here? Can you see the field name on top of column A? Can you see? It is username. And for the second one, we are getting again from global data sheet, and the name of the field is password. Now, excuse me. Now, so how it is able to, so when we are executing it was able to go to the application and input data to the corresponding field. Corresponding field means username text box. How it is able to do that? How the application is able to go to that particular text box and was able to input data? Can anyone give me a proper explanation for this?
What is exactly the question?
The question is, when we are starting execution, right? Our code is able to go to, our code is able to open the application, and after opening the application, it is able to insert automate code 1 in the text box.
Right.
How it is doing it? What is the mechanism it is able to do that?
From the object repository.
We have what?
From object repository.
We have this local object repository, right? Inside that local object repository, what do we have? So this is the, see, start by, if you look at the last class video, we have explained, let's say if you have a notebook and if I give you my address, you can follow the address and come to my address, right? Is that correct?
Right.
My address,
That's object repository.
my address has a door number, zip code and road number, so, and city. You can follow and come here.
Right.
The same thing in the object repository we have. If you expand it, can you see, for the username text box we have some related data, like we have corresponding address. So for username we have some, can you see, name, username, input, right? We have some fields here, type, text. So this is the address of the username. So when we are starting execution, it is reading the attribute, the address of the object from the object repository, and then it is able to go to that corresponding field and it is able to input data there. Now if you can see that this username is under this, right? This username is a child object. This username is a child object of this. Is that correct? Is that correct? This username is a, so now this username, can you see what is the class, the username? WebEdit. WebEdit means text box.
WebEdit.
Yeah, if you see class WebEdit, that means it is a text box. Okay. And then if you go to the parent of this username, this is the parent, right? Now what is the class of this object?
Page.
Page. Now this page has a parent, right? What is the parent of this page? Is that this object, right?
Browser, yeah, the window.
Browser. So this is a browser. Now can you see the hierarchy of the object? Browser. The grandparent object is the browser.
Page.
And then so
WebEdit.
now if you notice, guys, if you notice this browser, right? So first of all it is identifying the browser, and then under this browser it is going to the page, and under that page it is finally going to the username by the attribute or description we have here. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Alright. Now, so this is what, when you do recording, everyone, I want to focus here. When you do recording, then your objects, whatever objects you interact with, all of the objects normally get stored in your local object repository. So how you get object in the local object repository? When you do recording, whatever you interact, whatever object you interact in the application, all of the objects activity or all of the object is being added in the object repository. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now what I am going to do, I am going to, and one other thing, guys, one other thing I want to everyone to focus here. So when we are executing, you are able to see that it is working in the browser, right? So
Yes.
it is, let me make a little bit more clarified this information. So I'm going to let's say after this, right, after clicking on sign in, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a wait 5 seconds so that you can see, and after that I'm going to say, I'm going to close this browser. Or let's do one thing. So let me so can you see, even before I execute a line, did I execute any line so far? I'm expecting.
You read number 3, you open up the...
No, I didn't execute line number 3. I'm going to execute line number 3 because when I will be executing
Yes.
now, but how it was able to open the application?
Let me see the recording.
Sure.
Okay. I don't know.
Can anyone tell me how you think and tell me how it was able to open the application?
Okay.
So do you have a possible answer, guys?
No, because without you executing line number 3, how is it opening? Confusing.
And even in line number 3, are we opening application in line number 3?
Welcome, Mercury to... no, that's not.
That's not opening application, right? In line number 3, we are not opening application. Is that correct? So how it is opening application? It is not ghost, like a ghost is not working here. So how it is working?
By default here?
No, not by default. Let me show you. Let me show you. So
Yeah.
if you go to your recording options.
Oh, I see. Record and run settings. You have already over there.
So if you have this one here,
Yes.
it will, when you
have to check the top one.
when you do this, when you have this second radio button checked, it will always open this URL when you do the recording. So let's select this one. Can you see? I'm selecting the first option. What does it say? The first option?
You can run that on any open browser.
On any open
You
browser.
have to open the browser in that way.
And the other one was saying open the following address when a record and run session begins. So we were explicitly asking open the following browser when a record or run session begins. We were asking the program open this following program when we do record or when we run session. Now instead of asking this, I'm going to ask record and run on any open browser. That means will it open any browser for us? If I have this option selected, will it open any browser for us like it was opening previously?
No, we have to give that.
Yeah. So now if I execute, take a look here. Now if I execute,
It's not fine to open it.
now see I have a browser opened previously from the previous run, right? Let me close it. Let me stop recording. Let me start recording, playing again. Now can you see no browser is opened, and if I try to input the value, it will throw an error. Right? Can you see username objects parent welcome Mercury Tours? The object is not found, currently not displayed. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so what if you select in the recording option, if you select record and run on any open browser, you will have to open the browser yourself. I normally do not prefer it will be opening the browser for me because sometimes it will make your life hard. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce a statement here to open the browser. Systemutil dot what? Run, right? Systemutil dot run. Now can you see file? How many? Can you see it has multiple parameters here? File, params, directory, optional, mode, right? So what I am going to do, just for you to know, is you need to put the browser name. First of all, you need to put the browser name. So let's say I want to open Internet Explorer. So for Internet Explorer, it is iexplore.exe. So if you want to open Internet Explorer, it is iexplore.exe. Okay, and then you come here, put a comma, and then you put what browser you want to open. So this is, you are saying open iexplore, and then what is the URL you want to open? So go to the recording option. I'm going to copy it from here. So I want to open this URL. I'm going to copy it from here and keep it as it is. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to put that URL. Does it make sense, everyone?
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
So what I am asking the program now open Internet Explorer and with this browser, right, with this browser. So let's do this. Now when I'm starting execution, it should open the browser with newtools.demo.aut.com. Can you see it is opening the browser with newtools.demo.aut.com, right? Now, so if I execute line number 3, it should input a value in the username field. So can you see, if you go back to your application, it has input automate code 1 in username, and then if you click next line, it will be inputting the password field in the password field. Now if you click, like, can you see, now we are clicking on sign in, right? So when we are signing in, then let's see what is happening. It is bringing the flight finder page. What it is bringing? Flight finder page. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now that is where I am going to insert a new step. Now let me bring more concept on object repository. So this is the local object repository. So this local object repository, when you open a new test, it will always have a local object repository. Now this local object repository, these objects are only, you can use this object with this test. Like if you have another test, you cannot use any object from this local object repository. You will have to add the object in every test. So what I'm saying, let's say you have 5 test cases. So for every test case you are opening a test, and for every test it will create a local object repository, and the objects that you are adding local object repository of a test case, you will not be able to use those objects in the other test. So that means these objects are local to this test only. Now imagine in a real situation where you have hundreds of test cases and you have hundreds of repetitive work, right? Hundreds of work that you are doing. Let's say in one test case you are doing login and checking statement. In another test case you are doing login and doing a transaction, right? So both of the test case has login, but if you use local object repository, you will have to add the object locally to each of the test case. So that is a solution. I am going to go there, but before I go there, in this local object repository, let's say if your login is successful, guys, if your login is successful, then you see this sign off here. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So if your login is not successful, then you do not see this sign off. Is that correct? Okay, and if your login is successful, then you see this flight finder. Is that correct?
Yes.
And if your login is successful, then you see this text here, use your flight finder. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if your login is not successful, then you do not see this, then you do not see this, then you do not see this. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to, like, as you can see here in this data table, if you, let's say if you provide a wrong password here, right? Let's say we have this password. Now for this data, the login will not be successful. So if I execute it, let me do an execution. Okay, now can you see it? I have two screen opened here, guys. I have multiple screen open here, guys. Can you see this? I have multiple screen opened here.
Yes.
So that means like I need to do something so that before it start execution, it closes all of the screen. So before it starts a new iteration, I want to close all the browser. So there is a command for this: system util dot close process by name. So what is the name of the process that you want to close? You want to close all of the I explore process. Now although you see that we have two browser open, but if you, let me put a breakpoint here, right? So if you start execution, you will see when you execute this line number 2, currently how many browser we have opened? 2. So if you execute this line, you will see all of the browser is gone. But can you see browser is not gone?
Yeah.
Why?
We did not close it.
Huh?
We didn't close the browser.
No, the browser will be like, as I said, we are executing a command and this command should close all the browser.
Command is closing the browser, yeah?
Huh?
The
Command is closing the browser, right?
Yeah. But
but
if
you put in the wrong place. You have to go.
no,
You have
the
to do at the end.
no. We can do it here, but the problem here, can you
Is
see
it
that?
because is spell it wrong?
Yeah, spell it wrong. I didn't put the X. Now if you execute it, right? So if you come here, can you see now all the browser is closed? Is that correct? Browser is closed.
Yes.
Okay, now it is going to open a new browser, and let me put it here. So it is going to input the username, the password, and then it is going to click on sign in, right? And then can you see we are logged in. Now we can see flight finder, use our flight finder. Now we are waiting here for 5 seconds. Okay, so login is successful, right? Okay, first login is successful. Now what it is doing, it is closing. Now it is starting a new iteration because we have data, 6 data in the data table, right? So you can see that it is closing the browser again. So it has closed the browser and then it is going to open a new browser, right? It has opened the new browser and then it is going to input the username and then it is going to input the password. Now if you notice, so the second data, the data that we are working right now, can you see this data? We have wrong password. Is that correct? Wrong password. So this time our login should not be successful. Now let's see in the application, was our login successful? No, our login is not successful because can you see we didn't see flight finder and also we didn't we didn't see sign up, and here it is asking welcome back. It is asking for different things. That means our login is not successful here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So that is what I am trying to bring something new here. Now I'm going to input a checkpoint here. I'm going to input a checkpoint after clicking here, right? After clicking on sign in.
If it's not want to close the browser, right?
No, I'm doing something else here. Now let me uh, okay, let me start recording here. Okay, now can you see I put my cursor here and started recording. Now what I'm going to do here, if I see this welcome back to Mercury Tools, if I see this text after clicking on sign in, then I will say my login is not successful, right? Okay, so let's do in that way. I want to put a checkpoint for successful login. So I'm going to stop this recording. So when your login is successful, let's say you are inputting automate code 1 and your password is L12345. So when your login is successful, then what you see this use your flight finder, right? So I'm going to put a checkpoint for this. So I'm going to put my cursor here. I'm going to start recording, and then can you see here insert a text checkpoint? Can you see this? I'm going to input a text checkpoint. Now what is the text that I want as a text checkpoint? I'm clicking here.
Use your flight.
Right, and then what is the text? Yeah, what is the text that I'm going to look for? I'm going to look for use your flight finder up to that, right? Now I'm going to say configure, right, and then I'm going to select use your flight finder, and then I'm going to say checked text. Check text. Okay, now can you see this use your our flight finder? This part is only red, so I'm going to use this only this part to make sure my login is successful. I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to stop recording. Now can you see that it has added a new line, browser, page, and checkpoint? Can you see checkpoint? And what is the name of the checkpoint? If you can you see also it has added something else in the object repository. Now it has given a name. It has given a name to the checkpoint. The name is this, but what is the thing that we are checking? Can you see? We are checking use our flight finder. Is that correct? Use our flight finder. Now let me do the execution. Let me remove this and let me put our cursor here. So it is going to close all the browser, and then it is going to open a new browser, and then can you see that now we have this text present, right? So it is waiting here, and now for the second time, now it was a incorrect credential. Now we do not have that text, right? So if I keep executing, I'll remove this breakpoint and I'll keep executing. I'll show you something. Okay, now if you go to your result, view last run result. Okay, what can you see? Guys, what can you see? Can anyone give me a little bit answer?
It's failed
It's failed on where?
on the second row.
Second row in iteration 2. Why?
That's the wrong.
Password wrong. So if
Well, it did not find the text.
yeah, so let me expand it to see where is the problem. Now can you see it failed in this? Now what is this? It was a checkpoint. Can you see find a flight Mercury? In this one we have, if you expand it, can you see it failed in that checkpoint? Text checkpoint find a flight Mercury tour failed. We were text checkpoint captured this, and can you see expected this text, but we didn't get that text. Is it understandable?
Yes.
Okay, so your checkpoint is not matching, that's why it is failing over there. So now do you understand what we do with text checkpoint?
Yes.
Right, what we do with text checkpoint, basically we check a particular text in the application. Okay,
There is an option to highlight the text checkpoint too, right?
yeah,
When it's low.
we'll discuss that, Rachel, but for now you understand what is text checkpoint, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to use another checkpoint here. Let me come here. So this is text checkpoint where we are checking for a particular text, but can you see here in the application we have this one, but are we looking for this text actually? Folks, can you answer? Are we looking for this text? Or
No. Find the flight Mercury.
so when we are
It was something else, I think.
we are looking for this text, we are looking for use your flight finder.
Yeah.
But in the application it is coming find a flight Mercury tours, because this is the name of that, this is the name of that checkpoint, this is the name of that checkpoint, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
It's coming as a by default there, right?
yeah, by default you can change it, but this is the name, this is the name of the checkpoint.
Right.
Okay, now this is text checkpoint, but I'm going to remove this text checkpoint. I'm going to use another checkpoint here. Let's say when your login is successful, I want to verify another way. I'm going to, let me see in the repository, I'm going to remove this checkpoint as well, delete. Okay, and here sign in, I'm going to remove this, this is related to that, I'm going to remove this one as well. Now I'm going to insert another checkpoint here to show you how it works. So I'm going to click here. Now I'm going to insert another checkpoint. Can you see? I'm going to insert a standard checkpoint. Now standard checkpoint again I'm going to use this text, but I'll show you how it works. So I'm going to use a web element. This time can you see web element, and this is the text. I'm going to click OK. Now try to focus here. So previously it was working with a what, with a text in the screen, but this time can you see it is working with an element in the screen. So this text that is present in the screen, it is a web element, and this web element has two properties, HTML tag and inner text. Can you see this web element has two properties, HTML tag and inner text. So I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use this inner text as my standard checkpoint. Now in the inner text, if I click OK, and let me stop recording. The thing that I'm trying to see, can you see? Previously the checkpoint was, let me do a little bit undo. So this was the previous checkpoint, right? I'm going to compare something here and Control Z. So it is going back. I explore. Okay. Now the previous checkpoint was this one, but when I have added this one, let me bring this one. This is gone basically. Okay, so I'm going to do a new recording on it. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. Okay, so I'm going to do the recording again. And I'm going to insert a standard checkpoint, and I'm going to use this one. Can you see web element? And then I'm going to click OK. I'm going to just use the inner text, use your flight finder, right? Now here I'll keep this one as it is and click OK and stop recording here. Now if you take a look, this checkpoint, when you are doing standard checkpoint, can you see that it is doing the standard checkpoint on this web element, use our flight finder, and checkpoint is this inner text. So we are looking for this inner text. Now let's say if you do the execution, let me remove this 5-second time here and do the execution. So I know that it will be failing here in this checkpoint, so I'm going to skip this and I'm going to move forward with the further executions. Okay, now if you go to the last run results view, last run results, again you will see it failed in the second iteration. And where did it fail? It failed here in this checkpoint. Let me make a description. So we had a checkpoint for what we were looking for, an attribute of that object. We are looking for an attribute of that web element, inner text, right? So if you can see the all other except this one, all other iteration passed. Now what actually we were looking, can you see this is a checkpoint and the name of the checkpoint is this one, but what we are looking, basically we were looking an inner text of this inner text. So one object that we use for our, can you see we are looking this object, right? Use our flight finder, right? Use our flight finder. What is that object? Now if you go to this application, if you come to your object repository, if you come here, can you see this is the object? If you highlight it, so this is the object, right? Guys, let me know if you are not clear about something. So here if you look at the object repository, so this is the object. Can you see your checkpoint is on this object, so on this object, if you highlight it, this is the object. So on this object is a web element. Normally in QTP, if it is a text, then it is a web element. Now this web element, for this web element we were checking a property called inner text. Here we are not checking text, we are checking an attribute of this property, inner text, and in that attribute what we are looking for, we are looking for this text, this whole text, right? So if we get that object and this inner text present, then we are saying okay, it is passed. Now let me remove this S. I'm just removing one character. Can you see? Instead of use, I make it UE, right? Now if I execute, okay, let me go to the last run results. Can you see every iteration failed?
Yes.
Why?
Because it didn't find the inner text.
So if you take a look here, we have, right, use our flight finder to see search result. We standard checkpoint, we have a standard checkpoint for this. Now when it was doing it, can you see, like if you go back to your the name of the checkpoint is this, but if you go there, right, if you go to your checkpoint, can you see you are looking for this text and this text is not present in the screen. You have something here UE, that is not correct, right? So what I'm going to do, if you make it use, that means here basically it is looking just for your information, in standard checkpoint it is working on an object, an attribute on an object. So this attribute we are looking inner text, and as an inner text we are looking this text. So this is the use of standard checkpoint. So we have learned so far standard checkpoint where we work with an attribute, and text checkpoint where we work with particular text from the screen. In a standard checkpoint we work with attribute of the object. We look particular attribute and their value. Do you have any questions so far what we discussed?
No.
Okay. Alright. So
I think your video is more clear, right? I mean, if you follow your video on top of this one, it's more clear.
I didn't get it, Shahid bhai. Could you repeat?
No, I said that once you follow your video on top of this, then it will be more clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so this you can do this by using checkpoint, or normally in real life we do not use this checkpoint that much, but what we do in real life, that is what I am going to show you. But for now I am going to remove all of this checkpoint related data from here. I am going to remove this one, and I am going to remove this checkpoint related code. Okay. Now in real life what we do is, if I come here, what is this? Okay, let me close this. Now in real life what we do, let's say we are to make sure our login is successful, then we want to verify something from here. So what do? We go to the repository and then add particular object. How we do that? So we are going to add. Can you see? This is your repository. How you add object in the repository? You click on the plus and then you come here. Okay, you do this. Okay, now can you see I have added this object, use our flight finder. So this is the object that I will be looking for. If my login is successful, then I will see this object, right? If my login is successful, then I will see this object. So what I am going to do, I have added this object here, and now I am going to bring this object in the code. Can you see how I am bringing that object? And then I am going to put a checkpoint here, manual checkpoint. If this object exists, then what you say? Print login successful, else print login failed, and then end if. So if this object exists, I am saying print login successful, and otherwise say login failed. If this object exists, I want to do one other thing. This object exists, then I want to highlight this object. Dot highlight. Right? Now if you execute it, let me show you what it does. Can you see it is highlighting the object and also printing login successful? And for the second login, it was not able to identify that object. It printed login failed, and it is moving forward with the execution. Okay, now if you go to the last run results, can you see every iteration passed? So should it pass all the iteration? One of the iteration we have wrong data, right?
Yes.
So that iteration should be failed,
Right.
but it didn't fail, right? Is that correct?
Showing. Yeah, showing it passed.
It passed, right? The second iteration, right? The second iteration we did with, if you look inside, right? If you look inside, you will see we have inserted automate code 2 and we have inserted password L1234. That is not correct, because the correct password is this one. Username and password is L12345, but here it is L1234, so it didn't pass. And if you take a look here in your output, can you see login successful, login failed, login successful, login successful, login successful, but this one failed. But we didn't see that failure, in the log. Is that a correct statement?
No. Yes.
Okay, why? Rachel?
No, you're right. We know it.
So we should, like, if you go to the view run results, we should see at least one failure here, because it didn't get the successful login. And if it doesn't successful login, it is saying here failed, but we didn't see that failure in the run results. So if you want to make,
Why is that?
why is that? Yeah, because if you want to, like, we have if condition, we have just printed something, print, we didn't do anything else to make it fail. So what we'll have to do, if it is failing, we'll have to bring something, reporter dot report event, reporter dot report event make fail, right? Make fail, and at what step it is failing, right? At what step it is failing? So you say something here. Let's say in login. Login, it is failing in login, and let's say why it is failing. Let's say user name or password is incorrect. So you are saying, okay, in login step username or password is incorrect. Now if you execute it again, can you see it is waiting here for long time in line number 8 when it is failing? So it was waiting around 20 seconds over there.
What is that? It's think time?
No, I'll tell you why it is waiting 20 seconds over there. Okay, now if you go to your run results, can you see it failed here? And if you go inside, right, if you go further inside, can you see this message? It is failing in login, username or password is incorrect. Does it make sense how we are making a step fail? So you use reporter dot report event, right? Reporter dot report event, and you put make fail. In reporter dot report event we have three things. Let me show you. Reporter dot reporter dot report event, and how many? Make done, make fail, make pass, make warning. So normally we use make fail, make pass, or sometimes make warning. So make fail will fail your step, make pass will pass your step, make warning will provide a warning. Okay, so this by reporter dot report event we are failing a step. Okay, now so what we did here, we have input a manual checkpoint, but you can see that in exist, right, when the object was not there it was waiting 20 seconds. So you can make this one shorter by putting 4 seconds. So if the object is not there it will be looking for 4 seconds. If it doesn't get it within 4 seconds it will be moving forward. So if you execute now, you will see here it will not be waiting that long, it will be going much quicker. Now you will see it will not be, it will be waiting here 4 seconds. 1 2 3 4. Can you see? When the object is not there it waited for 4 seconds, not more than that. Okay, now you have seen how it is working, and what we did, we manually added this object, right? We manually added this object here, and how I put that one in the application you already have seen. Now let's say this object, right? Okay, so after login, after verifying successful login, we want to do log off. We want to do what? Log off. So what we will have to do, we are going to add another object in the repository. So I am going to add another object class, and I am going to add that sign off. Click sign off, and then I want to bring this sign off. After we verify, I want to bring it here, right? So right now you can see that after logging in it keeps us in the login page. Now I have bring the functionality sign off, right? So the sign off is here, right? Now if I execute, so when login is not successful, I want to focus you here. When login is not successful, do you have sign off?
No.
When your login is not successful, you do not have sign off. As you can see from the screen, if your login is not successful, you do not have sign off. It is sign on. So it is failing here. It is failing here. So let me stop here. Now when it is when we can only sign off if our sign in is successful. Is that correct statement?
Yes.
Guys, we can only sign off when our sign in is successful. If our sign in is not successful, we cannot sign up. So every time either login is successful or not, it is coming here and trying to sign up. So what we need to do, this sign up need to be here. If our login is successful, then you do the sign up, otherwise you do not do the sign up. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are we understanding what I am trying to explain here?
Right.
So if your login is successful, then you sign up. If your login is not successful, then if you try to sign up, no, it will not work. So let's move forward in that way. Now if I execute it, but first of all let me clear all of this and let me move forward. Can you see it is signing off? When our login is successful, it is signing off, right? Okay, so if you look at the screen here, can you see it is sign off because we did the sign off. If you want to see how sign off is working also, you can put a highlight here. Before the sign off, you can put a highlight, then you will be able to see before it click on sign off, it will be doing a highlight. Let me do it now. Can you see it is highlighting both sign off and the text? Okay, so let's say this is a single test case. Okay, let's say file, save this one as this. Let's put this one login and log off. Okay, this is a single test case. Now let's do another test case. Let's say we have another test case where we are logging in. Are we good if I go a little bit further?
Not today.
Not today? Okay, so then let's do one thing. Whatever I did so far, make sure you are good with that. Do it, practice it, make it ready in your computer. We will have further discussion in coming week. I'm going to send you the recording, and whatever we did, make sure you are good with that.
Sure.
Alright, so I will send you the recording, and if you do not have, does anyone have any question?
Yes,
Go ahead.
yeah, so I have a little issue on the when I try to review the last round result is not showing.
Okay, let me stop recording here and then I will look into your issue. Will that work?
Okay.
Okay. Let me stop
Thank you.
recording. Yeah. Thank you guys. Okay.